trail I hiked wasn't on any modern maps, just a faint line on an old ranger brochure I found in a thrift store. It led through dense, ancient-looking woods that felt untouched in a way most forests don't anymore. I found a decent clearing and set up my tent. Everything felt normal until dusk. The air changed. Sound dropped. Even the insects went silent. I tried to shake off the unease and started dinner. My fire crackled, sending sparks into the dark, and for a while I convinced myself the quiet was peaceful. Then, just past nightfall, the trees shifted. Not from wind, not from an animal. More like something deep in the woods had started moving, brushing against trunks as it passed, low, heavy, and slow. I stood up, listening. The sound stopped instantly. I waited. Nothing. I sat back down. A minute later, a branch snapped somewhere far behind my tent. I spun around, flashlights slicing through the dark. Nothing. Just trees. Though they looked strangely closer together than before, like they'd crept inward. I tried to sleep, but the forest kept waking me. Every time I drifted off, I heard something moving. Never fast, never chaotic. Always slow, always closer. Around 2 a.m., I woke to a soft sound right outside my tent. Breathing. Not human. Too deep, too steady. Like something with a massive chest was inhaling inches from the nylon. I held my breath. The breathing paused, then matched me. My inhale, its inhale. My exhale, its exhale. Like it was listening to my lungs and copying me. Then the side of my tent flexed inward, as if a hand, no, something larger, pressed against it. The nylon stretched, the shape of long fingers visible through the fabric. I didn't move, didn't blink, prayed it would lose interest. After a few agonizing seconds, the pressure lifted, the breathing faded, the forest was silent again. I waited until the horizon lightened. But the clearing was different, not destroyed, not shifted, just wrong. Trees had moved. I swear they had. The ring of trunks around the campsite was tighter than last night. Close enough, I could touch 2 opposite trees with outstretched arms. And on the bark of each one, fresh grooves had been carved. Deep, straight, tall, as if something with claws, the length of my fingers, had dragged them downward, toward the tent. I left without looking back, practically jogging down the old trail. The forest seemed to follow me with its silence. No birds, no insects, no creak sounds. Hours later, when I finally reached a modern trailhead, noise returned. Wind, water, everything. The forest felt alive again, but in the normal way. I told myself I imagined it, that maybe I was tired, maybe the grooves were natural. I believed that until a week later, when I pulled my tent out to clean it, the inside of the nylon, where that shape had pressed against it, was marked with long, thin streaks. 5 of them, burned into the fabric, like something had dragged its fingers along the inside, from the outside. I was backpacking through old logging territory, a place people mostly avoided because the trails were barely maintained, and the map had more blank spots than labeled ones. I didn't mind. Quiet is quiet, and I needed it. By early evening, I reached a ridge overlooking a steep drop into a valley of black pines. The spot was perfect. Level ground, dry leaves, and a panoramic view of nothing but forest. I set up my tent, cooked a quick meal, and watched the sky turn indigo. As darkness settled, a faint orange glow flickered deep down in the valley. At first, I assumed it was another camper's fire. Then it moved. Not fast. Slow, bobbing up and down like someone carrying a lantern on a long, deliberate walk. I clicked flicked off my headlamp and crouched near the edge of the ridge, watching. The lantern glow weaved between the pines, with an unnervingly steady rhythm, never pausing, never brightening or dimming, just gliding. After a few minutes, the light stopped at the exact center of the valley, hovering, motionless. Then it flickered 3 times, a pattern, almost like a signal. I waited for someone to shout, or for the glow to move away, or for it to, I don't know, make sense. But instead, it just winked out. The valley snapped into pitch-black silence. I went back to the fire and tried not to think about it, convincing myself it was a hiker or a hunter. Around 1 a.m., I woke to the soft crunch of footsteps, not near my tent, beneath it. The ridge was angled enough that anything walking under the ledge was technically below me, not next to me. But these steps weren't on the forest floor. They were on stone. Slow, purposeful. My breath caught in my throat. Then a glow appeared, not in the valley, but under my campsite, shining up through the cracks in the rocky ledge, orange, pulsing. I unzipped my tent and crawled out slowly, trying to remain silent. When I reached the edge of the ridge, I looked down, and there it was, a lantern, but no one holding it. It floated a foot above the ground, turning slowly in place, as if someone invisible was rotating it, examining the cliff where I stood. Then it flickered 3 times. The same pattern. Long, short. A cold wind rushed across the ridge. The fire went out instantly. The lantern whipped upward. Fast. Impossibly fast. And for a split second it was right in front of me, lighting the trees around me in a harsh orange glow. Only then did I realize it wasn't a lantern. It was a cluster of tiny fires, dozens of them, like embers stuck in a floating cage of black branches. The branches twitched, curved. I stumbled back as the thing leaned toward me. The embers inside flared bright white, almost blinding. Then, darkness. I don't remember falling asleep or passing out. All I know is that I woke at sunrise inside my tent with dirt under my nails and the bitter smell of smoke soaked into my clothes. There were prints all around my campsite, but not footprints. They looked like someone had pressed both hands onto the ground and dragged long, finger-like grooves outward, like something pulling itself forward. From the valley, to the ridge, to me. I packed up as fast as I could and didn't look back. But every night since, when I close my eyes, I see that flickered. And sometimes, just before sleep, I smell smoke that isn't there.